You are listening to KDIR Podcast. I'm Shar.
And I'm Tati.
Today we are going to talk about the Depp/Heard trial. Woo! She's so excited. But first, I decided that because this is my podcast and we only have 5 listeners and most of them are my family, that I am going to use this as a therapy session of sorts to talk about some of the troubles and worries and just overall venting about my personal life. It's extremely stressful, and because both kids are in therapy, I don't have time to go to therapy as well. So I'm going to use all of you as my therapy session. Yay! All right, so to start, we're going to talk about what happened last week. Most kids had their last week of school. They got to do all the fun stuff, the, outdoor events, but both of my kids were suspended. Yes, that's what I said, suspended. I'm very disappointed in both of them. When my son was suspended, this is where the stress really gets to me. When he was suspended, he was
escorted?
He was escorted by 6 officers back to the school. I mean, seriously, dude? I know he's 6'3". I know he looks like he's a grown-ass man, but I don't think that was a little overkill, in my opinion.
It was probably more for intimidation purposes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he's very hard to intimidate.
He's hard to intimidate?
Yes. He constantly thinks that he's bigger than you, so he doesn't get intimidated easily.
I guess, yeah. Men definitely do have more intimidation factor with him. It's been especially hard lately. I don't know if it's the, end of school year. It's not like this school has been the greatest for him. We thought it would be a good fit because he needs literally one-on-one interaction with teachers, and he needs to be supervised at all times. And so I thought it would be a great opportunity for him, but it's just not working for us. And I had to have a hard talk with the teachers about what we're going to do and, the next year, or if he's going to continue in the program. And I am going to look into other options just in case. We have the rest of the summer to decide, but it's a stressful thing. And I know there are other people who go through similar things, and I feel for you. I won't keep going on. I know my life is boring. Nobody wants to hear about that, but I'll bet you want to hear about Johnny and Amber, right? I know so many people are talking about it. Sometimes it gets old. However, I've always wanted to be a lawyer, and I love watching law stuff. So I have been watching all of the
trials against Amber Heard.
Well, they break it down by day. So like in YouTube, and it's always the same one. I want to say Law and Order, but I know that's not what it is.
Yes, the news was constantly broadcasting day to day.
And this particular company, or whatever it is, they were actually they filmed the whole entire thing. From the back, like the front, you could see the people's faces, up front. So it had to have been set up in such a way that they were allowed to go in there.
Well, you watched a lot more than I have. I've only seen various clips.
I've only watched up to day 6, and there are 27.
Well, that's why I've only seen clips of a bunch of the highlights, the main points, because
I am more dedicated than you. I'm just gonna
court cases are really boring for me. I have a very short attention span.
You're not my daughter.
I have a very short attention as I'm doodling while we're doing this because I need to keep my hands busy. She doesn't understand.
Oh my God.
And my issue too is I love Johnny Depp, but the man talks like molasses.
Oh, that's so true. I was getting frustrated with him, and there were times when I was like, I'd smacked him too. I'm just kidding. I went there.
I need people who speed
talk faster.
We're from Michigan. We talk fast. So it's a Southern thing. They talk
It
low
wasn't
and slow.
just that. He really thinks about what he's going to say before he says it. And people who do that just take forever to say something. And I want to guess everything they're going to say.
Yeah.
So if we were having a conversation, he probably would get so frustrated with me. Flower.
Jumping in all the time.
Kid. Bird. Car. You were you were talking about yourself. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know. There are some people that I work with that are a little slower at processing, which I'm sure that's like what you should do. I just blurt shit out.
We have like ADD and ADHD, so we're thinking as we're talking.
And I'm thinking always about like the next thing we're going to talk about, and then I never hear what the person actually says.
I could think about 1,000 different things I'm gonna say, and then talk to you for an hour as they all just come out. That's why everybody's always like, "Oh, you talk too much." Like, were you alone today? Yeah, I have a lot of time to think.
I remember Tati used to be home every day, like waiting for us to get off work, and we would come home, and she'd be like, "Mom, oh my God, this song, this video."
I didn't have anybody else to talk to. I had a lot of things stored up in my queue. Just gotta get them out.
That's why you have cats now.
Yes. So it made it a little difficult to watch, but there are funny parts because of the fact that it was so public, and he has so many fans that they kept getting yelled at for laughing and cheering. And
I even saw the judge like soften up to him.
Oh, she loved
when
him.
he came up to the stand, and her face would get all like. Anyway, all right. So day one, they start out with talking about April 26th. Like they talk about these 4 or 5 dates, and they're all, I guess, specific to the testimony of each of the witnesses. And Tara Roberts, she is like the caretaker / house manager, right?
I guess.
So there was this big thing about the Bahamas. They wanted to know what happened in the Bahamas. They wanted to know what happened in, I think, Australia. There's the finger incident. And then there is the supposed bottle. But I think that might also be the Australia incident. Like I said, I'm only on day 6. She claimed that he raped her using a broken bottle.
Oh, she definitely would have ended up in the hospital.
I know. I was like, and then she was like, I just sat there. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know. And so I just sat there and I took it. Like, she was fake crying the whole time. But she was like, I was like, bitch, if I thought there was a broken bottle in me, I would have kicked that dude in the face. I'm sorry.
Not to mention, she doesn't show any signs of someone who has been sexually abused, and it's not the way you don't.
Not everybody reacts the same.
I don't feel like if that were to happen to you, you'd then go into an argument the next day about, I think he spilled his wine on her or something, and she was more mad about that, but never once bringing up this other incident.
Like, you can totally tell she's a narcissist.
I feel like it would have been more of a conversation.
Past evidence, but what I want to know is, why did they go? They were like together for a few years before they got married, and there was shit that happened before they got married. Why didn't Johnny like know already? He should have known. I mean, they got into a fight like before the wedding, and I think that was in the Bahamas. They had not yet gotten married, so he totally could have like.
I think it's this kind of, like we've said, he's more of a, I don't want to say stereotypical Southern man, but he presents himself as a Southern gentleman, and you tend to want to see better in people. You hope that maybe when we get married that things will calm down or they'll be a different person, and that's just never the case.
Right. Well, and what was it? Day 4. Johnny's sister, Miss Jabrowski, testified that his mother was verbally and mentally abusive. And so if you grow up thinking that that's normal, then
you learn to create coping mechanisms to deal with that, so then it just becomes normal, and he probably thought that he could handle it.
Right. The mom used to call them horrible names. I guess she like told a story that her nickname was something like simple. It was like someone's name, but it just happened that the mom named her after she hated that person. So that was cruel in its own little way.
Yeah, it was more of a jab.
The things that she said to him, like I guess he had to wear an eye patch over one eye because he had like a lazy eye. And it's horrible because when they're little, you know, other kids tease them. You wouldn't think that your mom would tease you too, and she would call him one eye.
You know, that
so
honestly
mean.
explains a lot of why he is such a good fantasy actor, because being able to get away and like break yourself from your situation, he was probably in his own little imaginative world when she was yelling at him.
Probably. And I guess him and his sister, when they were little, played a lot of pretend. So I think he was always gonna go that route. But it does make sense. Like, and the fact that he's such a good dad to his kids, that everyone testified that he was the most amazing dad. And it's probably because he didn't want to be anything like his mom. And even though his mom was cruel and mean and horrible to them, he took care of her up until the day she died.
It was family down till the end.
Exactly. So, I mean, that just tells you a lot about the character. Like, I first went into this thinking, they're both at fault. I know what it's like to be married to a drunken, alcoholic, drug user, and it's hard. It's hard to know what kind of mood they're going to be in. They do things that they don't remember. They say things they don't remember. I remember he used to be really cruel to me. And then he'd be like, why are you mad at me the next day? And I'm like, you have no idea what you said to me last night. You know, you have no idea what you did. It is hard to be.
Like being with two different people.
It is. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, I used to say. And so I did have that in my mind before I started watching the trial. You know, I definitely have a new opinion of it. I feel a lot of empathy for Johnny Depp now. And especially after hearing the forensic psychiatrist that did the evaluation with her. She like took a whole bunch of tests. One of them was like 500 questions long. I think we did a similar test. It was forever.
They usually will. Not only do you have to take a long test to evaluate your psychological status, but usually, like, your family members and your friends are also interviewed because you can see yourself very differently than other people see you on a day-to-day basis. Right.
And I guess she was abusive towards some of the people that she...
Like her younger sister.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely not something new with her, I don't think.
So her doctor, who just happened to be Dr. Shannon Curry, clinical and forensic psychiatrist, diagnosed Amber as borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder, also known as BPD.
What's the second one?
Histrionic.
What does that...
So, okay. So I did take notes. I'm
not familiar with that.
I know. I took notes
I was like,
because I found it so fascinating.
I mean, the book
and now I cannot see people like I can look at someone who I know has like a mental health issue and go, oh my God, they have BPD. Oh my God, they have BPD. Like, I am seeing so many people who have it. It's crazy.
It's developing more. And that's the issue with borderline personality disorder versus something like bipolar, is that borderline tends to be less emotional or less having to do with mood swings and more to do with not ability to control yourself.
All right, so let me just go over the symptoms. Okay, so this is where they did the 500 questions. It's called the MMPI 2, and it's multiphasic. They go over life events. And let's see, it identifies mental illness, truthfulness, exaggerations, PTSD, externalization of blame, self-righteousness, socially sophisticated, judgmental, self-centered, manipulative, anger and hostility with passive aggression, and needing everyone's approval. What the psychiatrist found was that Amber produced a diagnosis of BPD, and that it was based on the fact that she was very cruel and hostile. She was concerned with her own image and seeking attention. And then she had suppressed explosive anger. She had like this really big fear of abandonment, and it had something to do with like her dad. And I do think that her dad was abusive towards her. I mean, these mental illnesses don't necessarily just come out of the blue. While they can be
hereditary.
Yeah. I think a lot of them have to do with, how you're raised and how horrors you live through. More about BPD. So that obviously the fear of abandonment, interprets things as against them. There's emotional instability, constant fluctuating moods, easily slighted and hurt, vindictive. Oh my God, every Scorpio I know has BPD. I'm kidding again. All right. Temper, idolizing, then devaluating friendships, trouble maintaining friendships, and black and white thinking. Shit, that's also autism.
A lot of those present in borderline or bipolar disorder as well.
I know, it's very similar. I think
a lot of them go hand in hand.
I think what she said was that it's really the hostility and the focus. Like, she's so focused on her image and people approving of her image that she almost cannot handle it when people aren't into her, thinking that she's, the greatest thing ever.
When I was first diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I actually went in thinking I had borderline personality disorder. But my therapist, for some reason, told me it was a lot less common, which I don't feel is the case. And maybe it's just in the generation of my generation and the upcoming generation, if mental illness is just getting worse.
I know, I've thought about that. Every one of my children actually have some sort of mental disorder. All right. Histrionic personality disorder, however.
Yeah, what the heck is that?
Yeah. So it says using elaborate descriptions to describe questions instead of like reacting to them. Emotional and dramatic. It has something to do with like how dramatic they are without actually feeling authentically bad about it. I didn't actually take that many notes about it. Maybe she didn't talk about it as much. Because they really focused on her having this other, maybe because of the explosive anger. It does seem to be a problem in a lot of her relationships.
Yeah, with I believe her ex-girlfriends spoke out about the abuse or the physical fights that they would get into. One of Amber Heard's ex-girlfriends.
Well,
testified.
It says testimony from Amber's former friend, Rachel Pennington, that they were shopping at Thanksgiving and Amber struck her in the face. And this is where the therapist went over taking on the identity of others. She doesn't know who she really is, and she has to be the center of attention. I was talking about the different, days that they focused on. Mm-hmm. There was the 3-day hostage situation, which I have not heard yet about, only on day 6. There's the finger incident. There's the poop pillow incident.
Amber Heard turd.
So Amber's 30th birthday came up a lot. I guess she got mad because he got drunk. This is when he supposedly sexually assaulted her. And the poop pillow incident, because he got drunk, sexually assaulted her. This was the poop on pillow incident, claiming that she and her friend shit on his pillow, and then she claims that he trashed the apartment. However, I watched the video cams. So there was a couple of non-legal court episodes on YouTube that I watched, and one of them happened to be the actual cam footage and the camera footage from inside the elevator, like showing, you know, where Johnny was and where Amber was and like what was going on in the in-between. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it wasn't super long, but it was boring to watch. And I watched it anyway because literally there was nothing to clean up because there was no mess. They walked in and there was no mess. There was no injured people. Johnny wasn't there. She was there all by herself with some dude. There was no mess. There wasn't even garbage on the table. Like it was.
So there's no party.
No. And I don't know if this was after the fact. Like I said, they kept talking about it. I'm like, I gotta watch the video. So
and I know they got in an argument because that's the night he was spilling wine on her, right?
I don't know.
No, maybe not. They were somewhere with his son that night, and when she yelled at him in front of his son, he got upset with her because he's like, you know,
leave my son out of it.
Well, yeah, because you embarrassed my son by yelling in front of him, and now he's uncomfortable, and like that wasn't okay. Which I think is the day he told her that he wasn't gonna look at her again. Okay.
That would have been early, though, no?
I believe it was after she claims the night he attacked her.
Right. Well, I know what it's like to be married to somebody who, like I said, has a drug and alcohol problem.
I think she does, too, though.
Right. They did talk a lot about how she drank wine every single day, and I'm sure that it didn't help her to be any more.
And people with BPD are not actually supposed to drink alcohol. They're not supposed to use any type of drugs. A lot of those things can actually worsen your symptoms. Mm-hmm. And if she was on any kind of medication, which I'm not sure if she was, then those things could have also been affected.
True. Yeah.
And her sister even admitted to doing cocaine with Johnny and them all doing it together.
I think the wedding was like all a free for all. The bridal party was supposed to have mushrooms, and I guess something happened and they couldn't get mushrooms. But they were talking about how there was drugs everywhere.
You know, it's a big Hollywood wedding, of course. But
and, you know, it's your wedding. Do what you want.
Do what you want.
They were in the Bahamas or someplace out there. I don't know. It wasn't in the U.S.
That's just the thing is, I understand that he used it a lot, but how are you going to be a hypocrite and be like, oh, well, he was doing this and this and this while she was also, like, inebriated right next to him.
Right. Well, and it sounds like she didn't stop drinking when he was trying to get clean. They did talk about his recovery and how hard it was. And
that can definitely affect you.
I know. I stopped drinking. When I wanted him to stop, I stopped drinking. I had to, because it was like, how am I going to tell you not to do it and then I'm going to do it knowing that you're looking at me like, I want some and I can't have fun, and I know it sucks. And now that I don't drink at all, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to look at everybody else and go, oh, I want to have fun too, but I can't do it. I get carried away. So it's better not to.
Yeah. I have even taken to, I don't like drinking that often because I just can't stop once to start.
Yeah.
You're not drunk enough.
You are both of our children. You have to suffer.
It's that drunk girl saying, I'm not drunk. What are you talking about?
Did you know that the money that she claims that she was going to like give away, she told a couple of these charities that she was going to pay them money. It's like a promise, but then decided to bring the lawsuit, and then she had these legal fees. So she was dating Elon Musk and he paid her fees. Can you say sugar daddy?
That's not surprising. Man,
and I guess she was, I don't know. There's so many things.
He's very much distanced himself from her, because I did see that during the trial that he was like, no, I'm good.
But I guess they read this text message that Johnny had sent to Amber, and it was him like being mad that she's dating Elon Musk, and it was so funny. I mean, it's typical of a couple that goes through a divorce, and then afterwards they text each other all this really mean shit, and they say things that they, wanted to say. Or
yeah, you spend so long with someone too that you're like, you feel like you can freely say those things.
He was jealous. You could tell he was jealous, and you can even tell that she looks at him like she's sad that it didn't work out.
No, she told him in the end she always wanted to be with him. She never wanted to get divorced. She didn't want him to leave her.
Yeah.
That's why the whole trial you can see her staring at him. He won't even look at her, and his lawyer is making stink faces at her because he's like, why are you looking over here, bitch? Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, she's made a couple of faces where I'm like, oh, you're going to get yourself in trouble, girl, rolling your eyes and shit.
Right in court where you're supposed to be sad.
And it doesn't matter if you meant it for someone else in the court. Everyone is looking at you. They are going to want to make sure, like, you feel bad.
Well, and not to mention, because it was so public on, not really TV. Well, it might have been on actual TV. I don't know. We don't have TV. But it was all over YouTube. It was all over the internet, everywhere. People were picking apart these videos that they're seeing things that the court isn't even seeing.
I know. That's what I said. Like, that house lady, she lied. She claims that she never saw Johnny drunk ever, which, give me a break. First of all, it's the Bahamas. That's what people do in the Bahamas. They go and they have a good time. I know you saw him drunk. I don't know how you could say. I would have been like, yeah, I saw him intoxicated a couple of times, but not, he can handle his liquor. Not know, and then 2 hours later talk about how you had to pick him up out of the sand because he fell out drunk and didn't realize it. I don't know.
During that whole thing, it maybe some of her tears were real, but I feel like she's a very bad actress.
I started thinking about the stuff I've seen her in, and I was like,
Alex and I watched the Aquaman movie the other day, and I was like, oh God, she is a terrible actress. And then I remembered she's the girl who dies, like, the very beginning of Zombieland. He's her roommate that comes in, and she turns into a zombie, and he has to kill her with the back of a toilet seat. Great.
I did not know that.
So yeah, she's not, like, her acting's not bad, but it was definitely, you could tell she was playing it up for the court.
Yeah, no, I saw that too. There was a third, at least so far, there was a third counselor that came in. This was on day 3. I guess she was like their couples counselor, and she made a comment that she felt like they were both at fault. Like, they both did things to each other that they shouldn't have.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's in every fucking divorce. I don't care if you are the Queen of England and you're getting a divorce, or you're, Joe Schmo or Sharp Valentine.
Got a divorce, no one would know about it.
That's probably true. I mean, divorce is ugly, and especially if you have poor communication. I must be grouped in that category.
How many toxic relationships there are that aren't, every day. Nobody's looking at you. These things are kind of normal, honestly, for everyday people. There are a lot of people I know who are in toxic relationships.
That is the truth. She testified that Amber slapped Johnny in the face, and she admitted it to her. They had all these documents all redacted, like it's the CIA.
Patient confidentiality, but at this point, it's coming into a case where she needs to be proven whether or not she is a liar.
Right. So they had to open up a lot of stuff. I mean, I would be mortified to know that my text messages were being watched by the entire world.
Oh my God, I know.
Right? Anyway, so she said she admitted that Johnny was supposedly on drugs and started bragging about being with another woman sexually, and so she smacked him across the face. And she admitted to hitting him first in all the other fights because she claims that if she didn't hit him first, that he would hit her, and that she couldn't bear to be disrespected. Those are the two things she said. She couldn't stand to be disrespected. Her ego was hurt.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a I'm afraid kind of thing. That
no,
sounds
that's
like
exactly.
I want the power here.
Right. You're not going to disrespect me.
Like, how dare you?
She claimed that her dad taught her that she needed to stand up for her.
You taught me I needed to stand up for myself, but never in a million years I would slap Alex because I thought he might hit me. That's so stupid.
I know. I am going to say, though, I come from abuse, and I have been in a lot of toxic relationships. And I do think that there are people that can bring the worst out of you. You know, they just push and push and push you.
Some people just aren't good for each other.
Right. You know, chemistry or whatever. And so maybe, you know, being with somebody who does push your buttons is you know, it could make you do things that maybe you wouldn't normally do. I'm ashamed of some of the, you know, behavior I've had in the past. I was so fucked up from my childhood that when I married your dad even, I made so many mistakes because I had nobody to show me how to be the right kind of, you know, wife, mother, whatever. And then I didn't have a real dad in my life. So I had no clue what a man was supposed to act like. And the men that were in my life, they all hit me. So I was like, I guess this is normal. Or I'd be like, oh yeah, he doesn't have a job or a car, but he doesn't hit me. So I mean, I just didn't have, he didn't have like any boundaries or any role model to look in. You know, I didn't have anyone that said, oh yeah, that is a good man. My friends' dads, maybe. I was always jealous, you know, but a lot of my friends were from divorced families too. I don't know, man. I'm not going to say that she's not at fault because she definitely wanted to hurt him and she did so on purpose. I do wonder if he didn't, you know, make it worse when he was high or drunk. Yeah. And maybe he was a different person when he wasn't, you know, when he was sober. Because that happens. I don't know. I said, I am still watching and I have not yet made up my mind, but I refuse to let anybody else make up my mind for me. I will figure it out for myself.
That's fair.
And if you listen just to the news, you're going to only hear the one side, you know?
Yeah, every news station or, you know, publication has their own spin to put on it. Their angle that they're looking at or that they want people to see.
Right. And honestly, I could probably sue my ex-husband for defamation if we're totally honest. Isn't that what all couples go through after divorce? You say a bunch of mean things to people, and you definitely point out the shit that you know is, you're exactly like your father. I've said that.
Well, and we all know revenge porn's a thing.
What?
What?
What's revenge porn?
When a couple breaks up and a girl, like, they've made either sex tapes together she sent him nudes and then they sell it to websites.
Oh,
because now you're not my girlfriend, so I don't give a fuck, and I'm gonna embarrass you.
Okay.
So people are mean.
I don't know why. I was thinking.
Maybe it's more of a my generation thing, because I mean,
you guys are obsessed with porn.
Well, I'm God. It's all over everything. It's so annoying.
I guess sex has become a very hot topic in this day and age, whatever. Well, anyway, so like I said, I'm on day 6. I'm listening to the bodyguard guy. And this is the other thing that's super annoying about watching like litigation is that they'll be like, did you witness Amber Heard hitting Johnny Depp? And he'll go, well, Johnny told me that. Nope.
Yeah,
I object. And then,
oh my God, they won't ever let anybody say anything.
I know.
Why did you ask me the question?
Let him answer it. And then I have also heard that hearsay, what hearsay actually means is that if you tell me, Mom, I murdered this guy, and I was like, hello, police. My daughter just confessed that she murdered this guy. They would be like, that's hearsay, ma'am.
Because you have
I didn't witness it for myself.
No proof.
So, therefore, it is hearsay. I'm going to use that from now on. When someone says, I heard that you did this, I'm going to say, nope, that's hearsay. When I feel like something's wrong, I'm going to be like, objection, Your Honor. Because I've been watching it so much. I know. I have to have fun with it. I do think that we should do next time, and you guys can tell us if you think this is a good idea, but I think we should watch 1 or 2 episodes together, and every time they say something about his finger, we take a drink or smoke something.
Take a puff every time they say hearsay, or
not hearsay. They talk about these certain things all the time. Like they'll talk about Johnny's freaking finger being cut off, or
they ask the same question 1,000 different ways, which is what pisses me off too. Yeah. Did you ever witness her using Amica cream? No. Have you or anyone else ever witnessed Amber Heard using Amica cream on herself? No. How many more times can I tell you no?
They also talk about her makeup a lot. Have you ever seen Amber wearing makeup? I'm not sure. I don't know that I would know if she was wearing makeup or not. Do you see Amber Heard wearing makeup?
So that'll be an interesting game. We're going to end up like
super high, and I think it would be hilarious.
So watch out.
So it depends. When I said drink because if Lynn participates, then she probably would drink. Oh, not that she wouldn't puff, but she definitely would probably want to drink. And I think it would be hilarious because she doesn't like talking about celebrities, but I think if we make it fun game, I think she'll play.
She'd probably be down.
Yeah. And if anybody else is interested in participating in our game, please let me know. I would love to have you on our show. All right. Well, that's all we're going to do for today. We're going to do probably, I don't know, part 1 through 40. I mean, how long does it take you to get through 27 days of trial?
That's a good question.
It's torturous, but also very enjoyable.
I mean, I feel like we're a little behind the time because obviously the whole thing's already done, but maybe that'll give us a little more information.
I just feel like we're covering a lot, man. We're covering like drug and alcohol addiction and mental health awareness.
I think definitely a topic coming up soon, the amount of school shootings going on in the U.S.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so political, and I hate getting into politics because I really don't.
Well, and my stance on it, if it makes you feel any better, is that mental health in the U.S. needs to be more affordable. Insurance for it needs to be better so that people can afford to get the help that they need, because I don't think it's the weapons. I don't think it's the politics that are the issue. I think it's that people are not getting the help that they need because either they're too afraid to ask for it or they just cannot afford it. Because as someone who personally has mental health issues, I cannot afford. It makes it difficult. And I think that people are struggling more than they're willing to say.
I would agree with that. And I do think that if you made it harder for people to get guns, I'm okay with that.
No, topic for next time then.
Well, or maybe not next time, but
future topic of some sort.
We'll always give you in on what we're thinking. And I guess you could veto it if you like. All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us on Knee Deep in Relationshit. We hope you will join us next time. And we're aiming for next week. However, Tanti's getting married soon. Woo-hoo. And the next couple of weeks are going to be packed full. She's having her bridal shower then. And then we only have 4 more weeks to get everything finished. So if you don't hear from us for a while, I apologize ahead of time. And I appreciate you listening. Take care. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Knee Deep in Relationshit, where we talk about all things relationshitty. In future episodes, we plan to cover some of our own personal experiences as well as some of yours. To facilitate that, we have set up an email at kdirpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can message us on Instagram or Facebook, where you can send us your stories, experiences, and issues. And we will use that as the topic for our show. If you would like to support our show, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for taking the time to check us out. We hope to see you next time.